What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. I'm back at the reloading bench, and I thought I would take some time to talk to you guys about resizing brass for reliability. So if you watch a lot of videos on YouTube, you'll see a lot of guys talking about resizing brass, and specifically they talk about resizing just 1 or 2 thousandths, full-length resizing 1 or 2 thousandths. And in my opinion, that is not enough if you want reliability. If you're a bench rest shooter or you're just going for pure accuracy and you're not concerned about reliability, then yes, full-length resizing just 1 or 2 thousandths is fine. But if you're reloading or hand loading for hunting or self-defense, you need to resize a little bit more than just 1 or 2 thousandths. So when you fire a case, it'll actually stretch more than just 1 or 2 thousandths beyond the chamber specs. So even if you resize 1 or 2 thousandths, many times it's not enough to get a proper fit in the chamber. So you can actually test this for yourself. You can resize your favorite case 1 or 2 thousandths and then try to close the bolt, and you will notice in most actions that it's still going to be tight even after resizing 1 or 2 thousandths. So you usually have to resize like 3 to 5 thousandths to get a nice smooth bolt lift and bolt close, and that's really important for reliability. If we're talking about bench rest shooting, it doesn't really matter if your bolt is a little bit tight on the close or a little bit difficult to lift. It doesn't really matter. And if you have a situation where your case expands to the point where you got to use a lot of force to open your action, open the bolt, it's not going to matter if you're in a competition of some sort, whether it's bench rest or PRS or whatever. But if you're in a situation where you have a grizzly bear charging you, or you're in a tactical situation, you don't want to have a heavy bolt lift. You don't want to have difficulties extracting, okay? And the best way to avoid that is to size your brass a little bit more, okay? Don't listen to what the bench rest shooters are telling you to do. If you're sizing brass for hunting or self-defense, you should bump the shoulder back, in my opinion, at least 3 to 5 thousandths. That's usually what I bump my shoulders back, 3 to 5 thousandths. And you're still going to get very good case life with that. 3 to 5 thousandths is nothing. But 1 or 2 thousandths, in my opinion, is not enough of a shoulder bump in many cases to give you that reliability in the field. Just look at factory ammo. Okay, most factory ammo or brand new cases will usually be 10 or 15 thousandths below SAMI spec. And there's a reason for that, because they want to make sure that the ammo can feed into any action, and also for reliability. So you don't want to size down 10 or 15 thousandths. That would really diminish your case life. But I usually size down 3 to 5 thousandths. That's about the threshold for me when I start to get that nice smooth bolt close and bolt lift. And another thing I do is I like to size below the SAMI specs. So a lot of guys don't believe in that, but I do. I follow the SAMI specs on the case, not the chamber, okay? So what I like to do is I like to make sure that my cases are sized into the SAMI spec range for that case. So let me just give you an example here. So here I have a SAMI diagram. I have this laminated. I have SAMI charts for all cartridges that I hand load. It's critical to know your SAMI specs. So here we have a 300 Remington Ultra Mag, and what we're looking for is the base to datum, okay, which is right here. The datum is halfway between the radiuses on the shoulder. So it's basically the middle part of the shoulder. And so here we have a measurement of 2.478 minus 7 thousandths. Okay, so what does that mean? that means that I want to be no more than 2.478, okay, after resizing. If I start to get above 2.478, that's when I'm going to have overpressure issues, and I'm going to have feeding and extraction issues, okay, because the case is going to be too big to fit into the chamber, and it's going to be tight. Now, if you only size 1 or 2 thousandths down, okay, if you bump the shoulder back 1 or 2 thousandths, you're going to be out of spec in many cases, because when you fire a cartridge, the case is going to expand several thousandths, you know. At least in my situation, I always notice that the cases are always 5 to 8 thousandths over the SAMI spec, okay? So in that situation, I size down to the SAMI spec, all right, 2.478. I want to make sure I'm below that. That's the maximum. And it says minus 7 thousandths, so that means you can go as low as 2.471. And it doesn't hurt if you go even lower than that, but you don't want to size that much because you're going to work harden the brass. But what I like to do is I like to size down 2 or 3 thousandths below this number, okay? So this is the base to datum, all right? You see right here, the arrow goes to the middle of the shoulder and to the base. I like to size 2 to 3 thousandths below that max number there, okay, for all of my reloading. And I've never had any reliability issues. You know, you have to account for different things if we're talking about reliability, not only just case expansion and difficulty extracting, but, you know, having some kind of foreign material inside of your chamber. You know, what if you have some lubricant in there from when you were cleaning your firearm? What if you get some debris in there? You know, you don't want to have all your cases sized to the maximum dimension and have everything really tight, because that doesn't give you any wiggle room, okay? And in the real world, things are going to get dirty. Things are going to happen that you don't expect, okay? So you want to be, in my opinion, 2 to 3 thousandths below that maximum number, and that's what I always do. And I've never had any issues with case life. You know, a lot of guys will say, oh, if you don't bump back your shoulder 1 or 2 thousandths each time, you're going to get case head separation after 2 or 3 reloads, and that is just complete BS. Okay, don't listen to what people say on the internet, because, you know, every case is different, and a lot of people, frankly, don't know what they're talking about. Everything they say is just theoretical, and they've never actually tested that out in the real world. They're just regurgitating information that they heard from someone else. They didn't actually go out there, resize all their brass, and then test it and see the life of it. They're just regurgitating what they saw, you know, somewhere else. Now, in order to get your base to data measurement, you're going to need a headspace gauge. Okay, this one is a Hornady, and it's 0.420, and this is actually perfect for 300 Ultra Mag and 300 Win Mag, because as you see, the datum is 0.420. So this will sit perfectly on the datum line on a 300 Win Mag and a 300 RUM, so I know I'm getting a good measurement there. But if you can't find a headspace gauge that can get to your datum line for your case, you could always go to your local gunsmith. I had my local gunsmith custom make one for my 416 Ruger, because the 416 Ruger has a very small shoulder, and frankly, no company makes headspace gauges for it. So he custom made one. He just, you know, took one of these and just cut it out, you know, widened it up, and that was pretty much it. Costed like $30. But, you know, that's just my opinion, and I think that's what you need to do, because, again, if let's say your case expands 5 thousandths beyond this max number, okay, 2.478, let's say my case expands 5 thousandths beyond that, and I only size it 1 or 2 thousandths according to the so-called experts, I'm still going to be above SAMI, and that means that my case is out of spec, and, you know, it's going to be tight in that chamber, Okay, so that's something to think about. You don't want your headspace to be really tight. You know, for accuracy, it might be good, and for case life, it might be good, but for reliability, you don't want that. Okay, you want a little bit of play in there to account for different things in the field, like case expansion, dirty chamber, dirty case. I mean, what if your case is dirty and you feed it? You know, if you have a oversized case, if your case is too big and it's tight in that chamber, it's going to be even tighter after you fire. So just wanted to mention that. Hope you guys find this video useful. Take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.